So welcome to Arty Farty Metal. We are working on the quarter moon abstract sculpture, and this is our little paper model. I always find paper models, or not always, I sometimes find paper models fairly useful and helpful. It gives me an idea of the best way of doing things. But my first step is just going to be taking off the nasty edges from here. I'm going to use my angle grinder with the normal sort of grinding wheel, and then I'm going to use a sanding disc on the angle grinder, and this is about 80 to really smooth out those edges, because what we don't want to happen with a sculpture is someone picks it up and they cut themselves. So I hope from here you can see the first half or quarter moon is going at an angle like that. So we're just going to weld that there, and then the next one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a smaller rod, maybe a 1.2, to just tack this together. And then I'm probably going to weld along with the smaller rod. And then I'm going to go over it with like a 3.2. So I've put in my 2 tack welds, and now I'm going to go between them. You might notice I've actually put it up at an angle, so the weld will fall back that way. I put the 2 tack welds in, and now I've welded that down. I've also put 2 tack welds on the other side. Now the other side I can't really get to with an angle grinder, so I'm not going to try and weld that all the way across, just 2 tack welds. And now I'm just going to get the sander in there and try and get off a bit of this splatter. It's splattering because I did turn it up higher, because I'm using thicker steel. I think this might be 5 mil plus. So I've got the first one in. That's the bottom one. Got the bottom one in. I'm going to put the second one in now, but we're going to have to modify this because I want 2 points of holding. And if I have it the way that the model is, I'm only going to get 1 point. That's because the base that I made in the model is a square, and the base I'm making in the moons is a moon. So we notice that what I've done here, it was too hard to hold by hand. I've actually put a magnet there. So now I can just tack here and here. In fact, I might go along a bit on this one. So what I've done here, this was the second quarter moon. I have welded here and grinded back, and welded on the other side and ground back. And then I've got a point of attachment here and also on the other side. So there are places where there's a bit of slag, but I can't really get to it, like in here. I can't get to it with the angle grinder. So what I'm going to do is use the Arty, you can see the label there, Arty, the Arty mini grinder, and that just makes it a bit more accessible. So another thing you could use to get to that slag in there is a die grinder. Now this is some cheap Chinese kit that I bought online. There only seem to be 2 of these pads, but of course with a die grinder, well, I usually use an air compressor. So coming to the third piece, I decided to give it 3 points of contact. 1, two, and the third one down there. And I'll tack the other side as well. Okay, well, having ground all that down, this is the final piece. Now, you notice in here, there is a tiny bit of splatter that I couldn't get to. So maybe when I get home with it, I haven't got a file here at the moment, but just a little metal file might be enough to take that off. So just remember, feel around to make sure that you've got all that splatter off to the best of your ability. I mean, worst case scenario, you just have to go in there with a bit of sandpaper. So I'm just getting in here with a metal file, and I'm able to get that bit of slag that was caught in there off. So this one's still in the process of rusting. Actually, I quite like this. I like those shadows at the back of it. And I'm just waiting for it to rust more evenly, and then I'll put some penetrol on it.